Tigtone. I am hyped for this matchup. I mean, I don't
absolutely.
even know what to expect from this Arclight Phoenix mono red deck. It's so explosive. It can do so many things so quickly. It has longevity in the form of Bedlam Reveler, Light Up the Stage, all of this stuff. It's going to be interesting to see if Daryl Ayers can stamp out the early aggression, or always an option for the Amulet Titan pilot. Just go off on turn 2.
Yeah, I mean, a single Faithless Looting with a couple of free gut shots allows you to do some really disgusting stuff. And it's going to be interesting to see just how much pressure Jeffrey Carr can apply here in the early goings against this Amulet Titan deck.
Jeff is going to lead on Soulscar Mage, follows up with a Monastery Swift Spear, as well as a card hard to spot given
Lava
the
Spike.
glare right now. Lava Spike,
That's
thank
7
you.
damage coming through. It's going to knock Daryl all the way down to 13 life on just turn 2. And the prowess effects of this deck can get out of control.
Daryl had a fine start as well with the turn 1 Amulet. It's going to allow him to play an untapped bounce land and follow up with a Zuza. This is the explosive starts that this deck is looking for. Here you see Colony Garden going to be able to make a plant token, provide a blocker on the coming turn. Very important drop.
Yeah, and still has 1 land drop left to go. Going to use that green source to cast Ancient Stirrings. Of course, all these lands entering the battlefield untapped thanks to that very powerful 1-mana artifact, Amulet of Vigor.
Let's see what Ayers chooses here.
The blocker here from the Calling Guard is going to be hugely important for stifling this burst damage from the likes of Soulscar Mage and Monastery Swift Spear. A Manamorphose and a land only in hand for Jeffrey Carr. Seems like he may have mulliganed this game and he's a little low on things to do. With that said, single Light Up the Stage, something like that, could really put him back in this game. He's already got Daryl Ayers down to 13. It's going to be interesting to see if he can find a way to close it out.
There you see Ayers with the follow-up play in the form of Teleria West, going to untap due to the Amulet of Vigor, and Ayers is going to pass the turn over. There you see a Manamorphose from Jeffrey Carr, noting that he's played a spell this turn. That's what you see the die representing.
Oh, that's a gut shot. You can choose if you like to gut shot the plant token, which will prowess both of his creatures again and allow him to attack in for 6.
Is going to do so.
No worries. I didn't say Baltimore specifically.
Is Ayers going to look up for a block here with Azusa? Normally, you just want to protect Azusa. It's your big payoff card, but Ayers already gotten a lot of the sizzle out of Azusa. Basically, you need it to survive for a turn, make those couple extra land drops, and that's often enough. And you do see a block from Azusa.
Yeah.
Protecting the life total, staying at 10 life.
Yeah, and a single 2-mana bounce land here from Daryl Ayers will provide him with enough mana to cast a Primeval Titan if he has one.
Absolutely. Ayers does look like he has a follow-up here. What's it going to be? 4 mana for a Walking Ballista on 2. Okay, this is a nice blocker. Can deal with one of these creatures if he so chooses. Has to be wary of that 1 card in hand. But points 2 damage at Soulscar Mage. It's going to bite it. And I think that's going to be it for Ayers on this turn. No, we have a land. We have a land.
We do have at least 1 land here.
Okay.
And it looks like he didn't have another bounce land, so he's going to play this Teleria West. And we still know he has Sunhome Fortress of Legion in hand, so he can play that as a 6-mana next turn.
Absolutely.
Getting Primeval Titan if he has it.
Nothing but mountains in Carr's hand.
Yeah.
The gas has slowed down. This is exactly the window that Ayers is looking for. If Primeval Titan is in hand, I think this game may be over in Ayers' favor.
I mean, the copies of Radiant Fountain or Kabira Crossroads, these lands are really powerful, helping you provide
There you see
things.
Sunhome with Summoner's Pact. That's going to go get Primeval Titan. Primeval Titan can allow a hasty attack here. Or excuse me, the search from Primeval Titan can allow a hasty attack. Let's see if that's the path Ayers chooses.
All right, so what he can do here, I think he drew a Selesnya Sanctuary, so he can actually play that instead of the Sunhome that he had already shown. And that's going to allow him to generate extra mana, but chooses to just play the Sunhome, save the bounce land in case he needs it for later.
Right.
Going to go get, obviously, Boros Garrison alongside Slayer Stronghold. And this is really where the deck starts churning. If you get Boros Garrison, Slayer Stronghold with a Amulet of Vigor on the battlefield, it'll let you come in untapped, return a land, like a Teleria West, give your Primeval Titan haste, and do it all over again. Follow that up with a Sunhome Fortress of Legion that's already on the battlefield, but can't quite activate it for the double strike, but gets enough extra lands and extra mana here to perhaps do something really powerful
Right.
mid-combat like this Kabir Crossroads.
Yep, Ayers is going to look to gain life as well as deal with Car's Graveyard here via the combination of Bojuka Bog and Kabir Crossroads. Ayers is going to move to 11, exiling Car's Graveyard, sitting with a 6/6 on the battlefield. Car with no meaningful cards and just a Monastery Swiftspear right now. Not where Car wants to be. Potentially facing down lethal next turn. Almost certainly facing down lethal next turn.
Yeah.
Takes a draw.
Oh,
Just a
that's
gut shot, not good enough. And there we see Carr take a loss.
Yep.
And now his team is down in 2 matches. Edgar M. winning with Esper Control over Sultai midrange as well. Let's go to the sideboards here. Take a look at Jeff's sideboard. Oh no. This is the death knell for the Amulet player. Jeff's sideboard, 4 Dragon's Claw, 3 Blood Moon. Womp, womp.
Yeah, Dragon's Claw is super powerful in this matchup. Oh, no. You're talking about the other one?
Incorrect. It is
Are you
Blood
talking about the other
Moon.
one?
The bane of Amulet players' existence. Playing a lot of Amulet myself. I hate seeing this card anywhere near the battlefield. But the sideboard rounds out with 3 Rending Volley, 3 Surgical Extraction, 2 Abrade. Todd, do you like any particular cards from the sideboard of Carr?
Yeah, Blood Moon, absolutely a slam dunk here. It shuts off basically the entirety of Daryl's deck. If he's able to cast that early in the game, Daryl's going to need one of his answers to it in order for his deck to function on a basic level. That combined with Abrade, a sideboard card's Abrade, obviously taking out something like a Zeus Lost with Seeking, but primarily knocking down those Amulets of Vigor, particularly important at just slowing down, the Daryl Ayers Game 1 plan.
We'll go over to Ayers' sideboard now. We're looking at 4 Path to Exile, 2 Dispel, 2 Negate, 2 Engineered Explosive, 1 Reclamation Sage. That's going to be a key card. 1 Chameleon Colossus, 1 Ramunap Excavator, 1 Cavern of Souls, and 1 Hornet Queen.
Okay, so from Daryl's side of things, he has to understand that the creatures are the backbone of the deck, right? The creatures are what provide Jeffrey Carr the most pressure. So I would look for things like Path to Exile, Engineered Explosives to take care of those. But at the same time, you need to make sure you have some answers to those Blood Moons. And since we're in the top 8, the elimination rounds, players have access to each other's deck lists. So Daryl knows exactly how many Blood Moons are coming in. He knows exactly how to prepare against them. And the Reclamation Sage alone, when combined with the Summoner's Packs, gives them effectively 5 copies of that one card to allow, not to mention even Teleria West to transmute for it. But he has a lot of ways to actually kill a Blood Moon once it hits the battlefield. If he doesn't go have a draw that can prepare for it, though, it could be backbreaking.
Critical that Ayers was able to take Game 1, because certainly going to be behind the 8 ball in Games 2 and 3 with the presence of Blood Moon. If this tournament is getting you fired up to play some Magic, why not come out and join us on the SCG Tour? Here you see the upcoming schedule of events. Currently we're here in Baltimore. We're headed to Dallas next week, February 9th and 10th, the Standard Open out in Dallas. After that, heading to Syracuse, a rare Legacy Open, Todd. Really exciting event whenever Legacy comes to town. Come March 9th, there'll be the regional championships. I'm sure you heard all about those previously. A lot of opportunities to play SCG Tour events that can provide points for that crucial Players' Championship. Don't miss those on March 9th. Come March 16th and 17th, Philadelphia Modern Open, back on the East Coast for that.
Notably, in the next 2 Opens, I'm going to be at both Dallas and Syracuse commentating on those. So if you enjoy my commentary this weekend, tune into that. And if you don't enjoy my commentary, then, well, shut up.
There you go. Come March 23rd and 24th, we're heading to Cincinnati for a team-constructed Open, finally April 6th and 7th. How about a Cleveland Modern Open? Ooh. And then come May 4th and 5th, we're going to Richmond for a Standard Open. We'll return to Syracuse May 18th and 19th. And finally, we'll head to Louisville for a Modern Open. I will be in Louisville. I'll also be in Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Richmond if you want to hear my commentary as opposed to Todd's.
Nice.
I think we're both great, Todd. I don't think there's any reason to choose one or the other. They can listen to both of us. And then, of course, there's the big one come June 7th through 9th, SCG Con, SCG Invitational. Pumped for that one already, even though it's months away. You can never get too pumped for the SCG Invitational.
Oh, no, and it's right in my backyard, too. It's about 1.5 miles from my house. Love that venue. Obviously love Roanoke. Otherwise, why would I still be there?
Can't wait to crash on Todd's couch, eat all his food, generally be a burden.
Look, as long as you're eating all the vegetables, that's fine.
I am a vegetarian, so I can take care of those excess vegetables you may have.
That's what I'm saying. Just don't touch my steak.
Happy to help you out there, Todd. Not a problem. There you see the playmat for the SCG Tour. Cool stuff. We have some kind of rampaging plant type creature.
This is, I believe, Botanic. I forgot. Oh man.
Make one up. Make one up for us, Todd. Right now.
Botanical growth.
Okay.
There it is. Botanic growth. It's at the bottom right in the tiny, tiny writing.
Wow.
My apologies.
Follow your heart, Todd. Follow your heart. And of course, our other playmat. This is not the angel one I know. I know the great Godspeed.
Angel. This is Starcrown Angel. This is what you get for joining Modern.
Okay.
Botanic growth, what you get for joining the Standard Opens. And then last but not least, believe this is Loftstone Citadel. This is what you get for joining Legacy. All this custom art, and you can get your playmat if you join one of our tournaments. Those are also given away in the classics of the same format as well.
Yeah, check those out. Join any of our tournaments. You'll get one of our exclusive playmats. You can find more information on our schedule at go.starcitygames.com/schedule. Great playmat knowledge there, Todd. Very impressive.
Thanks.
Are you a playmat fan? Do you use playmats?
Oh, absolutely. But I have stuck to my Desolation Angel custom playmat for about 4 or 5 years now. Funny story, I actually just bought it from a guy at a tournament.
And now you've fallen in love with it?
Yeah.
Very nice.
I mean, I've always been in love with Desolation Angel. It's my favorite card, but that's not important. Let's get to the match.
And you see a fine start from Jeff Carr leading on turn 1 Monastery Swiftspear. Ayers with just the tap land, a little slow to enter the battlefield. Here's a second Swiftspear and an additional attack. Ayers going to fall to 17.
Now you see a little bit of unsynergy with Light Up the Stage, these spectacle cards alongside the prowess creatures like Monastery Swiftspear, but still powerful nonetheless, giving Jeffrey Carr access to a Faithless Looting next turn, which can potentially pump those Monastery Swiftspears, which could in turn find some more spells as well as Arclight Phoenix.
This is the namesake card from Ayers, playing an Amulet of Vigor. Also plays a bounce land, returns that Tolaria West two-hand. Carr's going to go ahead and cast that Faithless Looting that he found off Light Up the Stage. Takes 2 draws. I see a Lightning Bolt. I see another land.
Now we're going to turn these extra lands into spells.
Right.
Cast a couple of bolts to the Domesky.
Yeah, how about a Lava Spike? How about a Lightning Bolt?
They're +3. They're attacking for 4 each. That's going to send Daryl down to 9 with just the attacks. And he should be at 3 life here on turn 3.
That is some raw aggression from the Mono Red Phoenix deck. Daryl going to need an incredible series of plays this turn.
What are you going to do about that, sir?
He's got Tolaria West.
Before the match, I actually thought that Jeffrey Carr
Here's Azusa.
was going to whoop Daryl. And with Daryl stealing game 1 after the Mold of 5, I think now we're starting to see exactly what this Mono Red Phoenix can do. The prowess creatures, when combined with all these lava spikes and lightning bolts and Light Up the Stage, it's just a little too much for Daryl to handle. And that game is over on turn 4.
Yeah, Carr flips over the contents of his hand. It's a Lightning Bolt. Not what you want to see when you're at 3. This match has been evened up 1 game apiece.
Now we're going to have way more talking about the events on the SCG Tour and playmat knowledge.
All that kind of stuff.
Turns of Magic.
Right. I mean,
What
these
the
games
heck?
have been explosive. These are 2 explosive decks. 2 of the most explosive decks in the entire Modern format when they're operating at their peaks.
Yeah, of course, the Amulet Titan deck actually slowed down significantly by the banning of Summer Bloom a few years ago. Still running at full force, just a turn behind what it used to be, utilizing Azusa Lost But Seeking as that core mana ramp engine, but not quite enough there. We saw Jeffrey Carr take down Game 2 in blistering fashion with those 2 Monastery Swiftspears as well as a flurry of burn spells.
Yeah, the Amulet deck still presents a surprising number of turn 2 wins. I will say that, much more than you would expect from a Modern deck, which had one of its best cards taken away from it. But Ayers not finding that quite yet. Has another shot at it. Going to be on the play for this Game 3. I think the play draw is pretty crucial here. It gives Ayers a real shot at getting on board before aggression really gets out of control from Carr.
Yeah, and a turn 1 Amulet of Vigor is absolutely what he needs to start with, followed by a turn 2 Azusa to play a few extra lands. If he has that start, odds of him winning go up significantly. If either of those cards are not in his opening hand, I think his chances of winning fall to almost 0. Aside from Jeff Carr mulliganing a lot and not having like a big explosive turn 2 or turn 3, chances are the Amulet Titans deck is just not going to be fast enough without those 2 cards.
Yeah, and I'll say this. Daryl knows that. Daryl is willing to mulligan aggressively in this matchup, and the Amulet Titan deck, a deck that actually has some resiliency to mulligans. It only needs a few cards to be able to do its thing. I don't think Daryl will be gun shy when it comes to taking 6, taking 5 if he has to. He knows something has to be done early or the game will slip away. Meanwhile, over in our other matchup, the matchup of Matthew Dilks versus Joshua Everly, things have been evened up. Grixis Delver and Golgari Depths sitting at 1 game apiece. Meanwhile, the standard match still only 1 game decided. Edgar with the lead over Ian Bosley in the Esper Control over Sultai mid-range matchup.
I think that's why a lot of players this weekend actually chose to play Esper Control.
I agree.
Assuming that it had a favorable Sultai mid-range matchup. I'm inclined to agree. I think that the Esper Control deck just plays a better long game. Cards like Kaya's Wrath will completely eliminate their ability to take over the early game, and without access to something game-breaking that can get around Kaya's Wrath, chances are Carnage Tyrant's not even going to be enough because Kaya's Wrath just comes again and again and again.
Yeah, I think that superior matchup has manifested over the course of the weekend. The more I talk to Esper Control players, they're reporting very pronounced success against the Sultai mid-range deck. That's not to say Sultai mid-range doesn't have a chance. It's a powerful deck. It's got powerful cards. It's got powerful options. It has good sideboard plans. All of those things keep it in virtually every single matchup it plays. But I think Esper Control found a little bit of the secret sauce for this weekend. It definitely is going into the matchup with a leg up.
I think so, too. I think that could change on its head like in a hurry. You know, we see these Golgari decks shift based on expected matchups pretty frequently. We already saw this weekend a huge sideboard shift towards Thief of Sanity, a card that, thought to be a little too difficult to cast, especially on turn 2, but with things like Breeding Pool and Overgrown Tomb into another dual land, it becomes pretty easy off of Llanowar Elves to cast a Thief of Sanity on turn 2, and then you can just ride the wave that it generates over the course of a few attacks.
Yeah, and as we talk down Sultai midrange, it finds a victory. All 3 of these matches evened up at 1 game apiece. But we're back to our feature match. There you see Ayers leading with a turn 1 Amulet of Vigor, the most explosive possible opening for this deck. Let's see what the follow-up is on turn 2. He's facing down a Monastery Swiftspear from Carr already. Carr, as he's wont to do, quick on the battlefield. Ayers has the 2nd Amulet of Vigor. And that means if there's a bounce land in hand, things are going to get out of control real quick.
Yeah, and I did not mention the line of Amulet versus Amulet Azusa, but this plays as well. The 2nd copy of Amulet of Vigor allows any bounce land on the following turn to effectively produce 4 mana. Combined with a 2 in play, leads to 6. And then Primeval Titan comes down, a nice big hasty boy.
Mm-hmm. And it could possibly present lethal. Anytime there's 2 Amulet of Vigors on the battlefield, as the Amulet Titan player, you need to figure out if you have lethal. The answer, quite often, yes. Let's see if Ayers already has the Bounce Land Titan combination. It's quick to tap mana, looking for something with Ancient Stirrings, maybe searching for that Bounce Land. Saw a little shake of the head from Edgar there. Looks like a forest.
Yeah, he didn't quite have it. Could be searching for Titan, but could also be searching for that Bounce Land. They do play quite a few, but occasionally you miss.
What do we have here as the follow-up? It is just forest.
It feels like he drew Ancient Stirrings for the turn as well. Had that green mana last turn. May have held it up for a potential like disenchant or possibly negate or something like that to protect from Blood Moon.
Right. I think Ayers was holding his breath there, fearing possible Blood Moon. Instead, he has to fear damage to his life total. We see a Gut Shot, a Lava Spike, going to deal a grand total of 7 damage to Ayers. The clock is already ticking. I think the draw was a Gemstone Mine for the turn, but we may have another Ancient Stirrings. Let's see what the play is from Ayers here.
Yeah, I think he has a negate that he probably sideboarded in to protect from Blood Moon. That could basically be the only reason he's playing like he is, in my opinion.
So Ayers deploys Sakura Tribe Scout, deploys Azusa. Looks like a lot of enablers, not a lot of payoff for Ayers.
Yeah, and even though Arclight Phoenix isn't that staggering here, it's definitely worth casting. And now a double block on this Monster Swiss.
I think that was the right block, and it may have been a mistake to attack even.
Oh, I actually agree. I thought it was a decent bluff, but at this stage of the game, you're basically forcing Daryl to block, and he chooses the correct double block here, which takes on that Monster Swiss Spear and gets it off the battlefield.
Todd, Daryl has a Primeval Titan in hand. I just saw it when he went through his hand.
Oh, wow. He's short. Jeffrey Carr is not quite on lethal yet. He has a land in hand as well as Bedlam Reveler and 2 copies of Arclight Phoenix.
Right, and he's going to deploy the Bedlam Reveler, meaning going to get to reboot that hand. I think also there go 2 Arclight Phoenixes into the graveyard. Going to draw 3 here.
Wow, and he has to light up the stage. Oh,
no damage done yet.
Yeah, that's true.
Has he cast a 3rd spell this turn?
He has not. That's the trick.
Oh,
he cast
boy.
a Metamorphose, and his hand was just Phoenix.
Here comes
Bedlam
Phoenix.
Reveler.
Ayers is going to get one more shot at this. This is it. It's all about the top of Ayers' deck.
If he doesn't, if he has Gut Shot in his deck still, which he may have sided out, if he has Gut Shot in his deck still, he should 100% cast Faithless Looting right now and try to find that Gut Shot.
Here's an attack from Arclight Phoenix. Here's a post-combat light up the stage. There's another Phoenix. There's the Faithless Looting. Neither of those cards matter right now. This is the whole game. This draw step.
Yep, this is it. He can.
Ayers with the slow peel, making us sweat, and finds the Sakura Tribe Scout. Just, you have to feel for Ayers. This is one of those positions for the Amulet Titan deck where everything went right in those first few turns and just needed to find any bounce land to take the match. And we're seeing celebration. It's possible that simultaneously another match ended.
Yeah, I mean,
you're
there's
seeing the handshakes right now.
Looks like Legacy Grixis Delver able to defeat Matthew Dilks 2-1. We're going to have Joshua Everly, Jeff Carr, and Ian Bosley making it to the finals. That's all she wrote.
Not a huge